I thought my life was perfect. I finished university and got a job at the company I always wanted to work for. After graduating, I met my husband Mark, and we got married when I was 25. Mark had a good job, and he was a kind and caring person. 3 years into our marriage, we had our daughter, Lily. Mark and I loved our time together, so when we found out I was pregnant, we were excited to welcome our little girl. It felt like perfect timing. Life was going great, or so I thought. My name is Sarah. I'm 30 years old and a stay-at-home mom. I quit my job when Lily was born because I wanted to focus on raising her. Now she's almost 2, and she's the sweetest child. She makes me smile every day, and watching her grow brings me so much happiness. Mark adores Lily too. On weekends, he takes care of her so I can rest. Thanks to his help, I've been able to keep a good balance in my life. But one day, everything changed. It happened on a weekend when Mark's parents, Richard and Diane, suddenly showed up at our house. Until then, I only saw them a few times a year. To be honest, I never really liked Diane. And I knew she didn't like me either. When Mark and I got engaged, she said, "I'm not sure she's the right woman for my son." She also made rude comments like, "She doesn't seem like she was raised properly." I never stayed quiet though. I always clapped back. Maybe Mark likes me because I'm positive and easygoing, unlike you. Mark and his dad, Richard, hated arguments, so they always tried to stop me from talking back. Diane and I never got along from the start. So why did they suddenly come over? Even though I was confused, I had no choice but to let them in. "Hi, Richard and Diane. What brings you here today?" "What? Are you serious? We told you we were coming." "Huh." "Sarah, I'm so sorry," Mark said. "I forgot to tell you my parents were coming." How could he forget to tell me something so important? Mark was always a little forgetful. Still, I quickly made tea for everyone. "So what's the reason for your visit?" I asked. "What? Mark didn't tell you. We talked to him before." "Sarah, do you and Mark even communicate properly?" Diane said with a smirk. I ignored her and looked at Mark. He looked nervous before finally speaking. "The thing is, I talked to my parents and we decided to move in with them." "What? Remember? My dad broke his leg the other day. Ever since then, I've been worried about him. Also, they're getting older. I think it's best if we move in and take care of them." "Wait, so you already decided we're moving in?" "Oh yeah, I think it's the right thing to do." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Just because Mark thought it was a good idea didn't mean he could make this decision without talking to me first. "Sarah, don't tell me you're against this," Diane said. "Either way, your opinion doesn't matter. We only care about what Mark wants. This is an important decision for both of us," I said firmly. "I need to talk it over with Mark first." Diane gave me a sharp look, like she was annoyed, then left with Richard. As soon as they were gone, I turned to Mark. "Why didn't you tell me about this?" I asked. "I can't believe you tried to make such a big decision without talking to me first." "I am sorry," Mark mumbled. "I was just worried about my dad." "Being worried about your dad is understandable, but you should have talked to me first." "You're right, I should have." Mark took a deep breath before asking, "So what do you think? Would you consider moving in with them?" "Honestly? No, I don't get along with your mom." "I knew you'd say that," Mark sighed. "Is there anything that would change your mind?" "I'll do it under one condition." "What is it?" "You have to stand up for me. If your mom picks on me or treats me badly, you have to defend me. If you can't do that, then we're getting a divorce." "Divorce? Isn't that a little extreme?" "I'm serious. That's how much I dislike your mother. If you can't promise to stand up for me, I'll leave and go back to my parents' house." "Oh, okay. I promise I'll stand up for you. Just please don't say you'll divorce me." Since Mark made that promise, I agreed to move in with his parents for now. Of course, if he ever broke that promise, I would leave immediately. A few weeks later, we moved in with Richard and Diane. The moment Diane greeted us, she coldly said, "Oh, you're finally here. Well, just try not to cause any trouble." And she said it with such a sarcastic tone. I lightly nudged Mark, who was standing beside me. Looking nervous, he quickly spoke up. "Mom, you're the one who asked us to move in. You should treat us well too, so please don't give us any trouble either." Diane looked surprised for a second, but quickly went back to her usual expression. "Well, fine. Come on in. I'll make you some tea." I was glad Mark actually stood up for me. If he kept doing that, Maybe I could handle living with Diane. After unpacking our things, I was having tea with Richard and Diane in the living room when I heard the front door open. I turned toward the entrance, wondering who it was. Then I saw Olivia, Mark's younger sister. "I'm home," she called out. "Oh, are Mark and his family visiting today?" she asked. "Yes, that's what I told you yesterday," Diane replied. I was confused. "Is Olivia living here?" I thought. I always assumed she had her own place. Then why did she say, "I'm home"? Was she just visiting, or was she actually living here? Olivia, it's been a while," I said. "Oh, hey, Sarah. We're all one big family now, right? Wait, are you living here now?" "Huh. Didn't Mark tell you? I moved back 3 months ago." "Mark never mentioned this to me." I turned to glare at him. "Oh no, I forgot to tell you," he mumbled. Strike one. 2 more strikes, and he's out. "Oh, I see. I didn't know," I said. "Well, we're all family now," Olivia said cheerfully. Later, when we were alone in our room, I gave Mark an earful. And just like that, life in Diane's house began. As expected, it didn't take long for Diane to start treating me badly. "Sarah, why aren't you cleaning?" she suddenly asked. "What? I already cleaned our room," I replied. "You haven't cleaned my room or Olivia's room. And you haven't mowed the lawn either." "What? Why should I have to do that?" "What? Are you talking back to me? You should be grateful we're letting you stay in our house. I'm living here with Mark because we're worried about Richard. You asked us to move in. And now Olivia is siding with Diane? What's going on here?" "Sarah, are you arguing with my mom just because you don't want to do housework? That's ridiculous." "Huh? It just seems like you're being lazy and trying to avoid work." Frustrated, I snapped, "Fine. I'll clean everything, including Olivia's and Diane's rooms." I even mowed the lawn by myself, even though it was scorching hot outside. While I was doing all the chores they dumped on me, Diane and Olivia were playing with my daughter, Lily. I wanted to tell them to keep their filthy hands off my child. Of course, I told Mark everything when he got home from work. I asked him to speak up at dinner. Later, when we all sat down to eat, Olivia and Diane were still complaining about me. "What is this food? It tastes so plain." "I don't like it at all." "I can't believe she's a housewife and still a bad cook," Diane added. Mark put down his fork and finally spoke. "Mom, Olivia, stop complaining about the food. Sarah made this for everyone." "Mark, are you seriously siding with your wife over this? Don't you have any pride as a husband? Do you actually think this food is good?" I love Sarah's cooking. It's really good," Mark stammered. I could see it. Olivia was controlling the situation. Mark wasn't standing up for me at all. I never thought he'd be this unreliable. That's strike 2. After that, Olivia and Diane's bullying didn't stop. It got worse. They made me do all the housework and errands, and if I refused, they complained. Diane even told me, "A wife belongs to this family. It's only natural that you do all the work. You should treat me like mom," Olivia added. "So do whatever I say." Basically, they were telling me to be their servant. At that point, I was sure Diane and Olivia were completely out of their minds. I started thinking about how to leave this house for good. Then, one day, I got a call from my mom. My dad had a stroke. Thankfully, it wasn't too serious, but he was in the hospital, so I packed my bags to visit him. That's when Diane walked into my room. "Sarah, what are you doing?" "I just got a call from my mom. My dad had a stroke and was taken to the hospital. I'm going to see him." Then Diane said something unbelievable. "Who said you could leave? This is your home. You have no other home." "What?" "Stop packing and get back to your chores." That was it. I couldn't take it anymore. If I stayed here any longer, I'd lose my mind. Ignoring Diane, I left. I went to the hospital and stayed with my mom for a few days, helping her around the house. Meanwhile, Diane and Olivia kept calling me and leaving nasty messages like, "What's wrong with you? You're Mark's wife. Stop running away and come home immediately." They were completely insane. I was already planning to leave Mark, but now I was furious with Diane and Olivia, so I decided to get revenge. Revenge takes time, so even though I didn't want to go back, I returned to Diane's house. As expected, she and Olivia kept treating me badly. Then, about 6 months later, during dinner, Olivia suddenly grinned and announced he proposed to me. She added, I'll bring him over for lunch next time. Finally, the time for my revenge had come. I was smiling to myself, thinking about my plan, but Olivia saw and mistook it. Oh, Sarah, you're happy for me too, she beamed. A week later, Olivia brought her fiancé over. His name was Jake. He worked for a big company, had a high salary, and seemed like a genuinely good guy. Honestly, he was way too good for Olivia. She proudly introduced him to everyone. Diane had no complaints and smiled, saying, You have my blessings. Please take care of Olivia. And that was my moment. It was time to get my revenge. I made tea for everyone and started chatting with Jake. So Jake, after you get married, will you be living with your parents? What? Oh no, I haven't really thought about that yet, Jake replied. But I heard in some families if your parents are over 60, you're expected to live with them. So I thought maybe you'd end up living with them or with us. No, there's no rule like that in my family, Jake said, looking confused. Ah, I see. Well, there are plenty of other rules in this house. For example, I was told that as a wife, you must obey your in-laws without question to show your gratitude. Also, you're not allowed to return to your own home because this house is now your home. When my father had a stroke, they tried to stop me from visiting him at the hospital, and instead wanted me to do all their chores. Jake's face started to frown. Is this true, Sarah? He asked Olivia. No, that can't be true. Olivia snapped. Sarah, you're just jealous of Jake and trying to stir things up. No, I said calmly. I'm just letting Jake know what it could be like if he marries into this family, giving him advice so he doesn't end up getting a divorce for no reason. With that, I pulled out a voice recorder and played the recordings of Olivia and Diane bullying me. Olivia and Diane's faces turned pale. After Jake finished listening to the recordings, he stood up and said, I'm sorry, but the wedding is off. Olivia, this is the last time we'll speak. With that, he left. Olivia and Diane were in shock and started crying. Watching them cry, I felt a huge sense of relief. Then, I packed my things and left the house with Lily. I left the divorce papers on the table for Mark. When he found them, he called me, but I couldn't hold back anymore. I told him off for being such an unreliable husband. A few days later, he told me he signed the divorce papers and sent them back. I was furious that he gave up so easily. He didn't even try to fight for me. But then again, he'd never been much of a man. Divorcing Mark was the best choice I could have made. According to a neighbor, both Mark and Olivia are still living at Diane's house like freeloaders. They don't help with any housework, so Diane's left doing everything by herself. On top of that, Olivia was so devastated by her broken engagement that she quit her job and now depends entirely on her father's pension. Mark spends all his money on his hobbies and doesn't contribute anything to the house. But it's none of my concern anymore. I do feel bad for Richard. He's stuck with such an awful, lazy family. As for me, I've been working hard again while my parents help raise Lily. She's growing up so fast and has been telling me all about the things happening in her kindergarten. Seeing her so happy makes me smile, and I'm going to keep working hard for her. Thanks for watching until the end. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. See you in the next video.